Another book, Ibn al-Bayy' in the book Ma'rifat al-Usul. Another book, Fada'il al-Sahaba. Another book, Salman ibn Ahmad in his book Mu'jam Awsat. Another book, Musannaf by Abu Bakr Bayhaqi, and so on and so forth. There are more. What is the story? The story in different books have a little bit differences, but basically the story goes like this. I'll just pick up one of them. The story says Imam Ali, peace be upon him, was busy doing nafila, extra prayer in the masjid. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that time was in his apartment. Of course, you have to understand the condition of the masjid and the apartment of Rasul at that time. His apartment would open up to masjid. Meaning it wasn't like he had to drive his car or camel or horse somewhere else in another street. The Masjid al-Nabi, the mosque of the Prophet, his apartment would open up to the masjid. But our Prophet at that time was in the apartment. Imam Ali alayhi salam was doing extra prayer. As I said, there are a little bit differences in the narrations of different sources. Some say there was a public prayer, everybody was there. Some say in this manner that I'm telling you. Then, as Imam Ali alayhi salam, peace be upon him, was doing salat, a poor man came to the masjid, and there were other people probably over there doing other extra prayers. He came to the masjid and he says, "Is there anyone who give me charity? I'm a needy person." At that time that he uttered those statements, Imam Ali alayhi salam was bent in ruku. Remember, brothers and sisters, this is narrated numerously by those authentic sources in Sunni madhab, Sunni madahib. Some of the books that I gave you were the records, and those were some of them. Ali alayhi salam was bent in ruku. When he heard that, he pointed towards his finger, indicating, "Come and get my ring." And he had a silver ring. The beggar came and took the ring out, and he went out of the masjid. Meanwhile, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, in his apartment, Angel Jibreel revealed these verses that we are studying right now to him. إنما وليكم الله ورسوله والذين آمنوا الذين يقيمون الصلاة ويؤتون الزكاة وهم راكعون. Your wali is Allah and His Messenger, and those who believe, those who establish salat and give zakat while they are doing ruku. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam came out of his apartment, went out of the masjid from his apartment. He saw the beggar. The beggar came to him and said, "There was a man inside of masjid. I asked him to give me charity and he gave me this ring." Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam at that time was with some of his companions had gathered around him. He said, "Show me who." They went inside of the masjid and the man pointed towards Ali. He says, "That man who is praying over there." They say companions around Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, upon hearing that, they said takbir and they said Allahu Akbar. They raised their voice in saying Allahu Akbar. They declared the greatness of Allah and they praised Allah that Allah and Rasul and Ali have been assigned as wali. This is mentioned by Sunni brothers and sisters. And this that I told you is a common denominator story. Let me narrate for you from one of the books of Sunni brothers and sisters. You would be amazed when I read you this. You would be amazed that how could all of this be in their book and they could deny it. They could pretend as they don't know. The explanation for that, remember the Israelites? Remember we said that Israelites went misled and some of the people would say, how could it happen? How could it happen to such a person? How could it happen to such a people? Whatever was the cause of Israelites to go misled, you will find it in here too. That's number one. Number two, many people who know exactly like the rabbis among the Jewish people or monks among the Christians, that Quran says they recognize you better than they recognize their sons. But they are the leaders of the community. Majority of the people don't have time to study. They depend on the scholars of religion. And if the scholars of religion recognize truth better than they recognize their sons, but their ego and their jealousy doesn't allow them to confess it, well, they mislead many people too. Because they depend on them for knowledge. Some of these rooms on the internet, of course, these people are not scholars at all, but when you go over there, they lie. They lie big. For instance, this morning somebody in a room was teaching others, if you go to Iran, you will discover that they have different Quran. Believe me, not any less, not any more, exactly like that. And the people, the audience in the room were buying his word. Now some of the brothers and sisters in this room are from Iran. They know that is absolutely a lie. It's not even distortion, it is a lie. But he was telling the people the lie, and they were buying it. He was terrorizing them with a lie, and they were being terrorized. Now how many of those people do you think are going to come to you and say, is that true? You are from Iran. Is that true that Iranians or Shias have different Quran? For many years, the people, the scholars, those who pretended to know, they frightened people by lies. They lied so big that the people became terrorized. As a result of which, they didn't even go towards their Shia brothers and ask them, is this true? Now, this hadith that I'm reading for you is from Tafsir Tha'labi. He says, Abu Dhar Ghaffari said, the beggar, the person who asked, said, Allahumma ashhad anni sa'altu fi masjid Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam wa lam yu'tani ahadun shay'an wa kana Aliyyun alayhi salam raki'an فأما بخنصره اليمنى فأقبل السائل حتى أخذه من خنصره وذلك بعين رسول الله صلى الله عليه وآله وسلم. He says, oh Allah, now this is a slightly, the beginning of it, a slightly different version than the one that I told you. He says, oh Allah, bear witness. The beggar is saying, oh Allah, bear witness that I, in the masjid of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, had a request, and no one responded to my request. No one gave me anything except Ali, who was doing ruku. He pointed during his ruku. He pointed towards his finger of the right hand. And by pointing to his finger from the right hand, he indicated to the beggar